could I not pronounce your name?
Kamala. So just think of like the punctuation mark, a comma, and that add a la, and there you go.
And so then what does Kamala mean then?
So it's a very traditional, classic Indian name, and it derives from Sanskrit, and it means the lotus flower.
You loved going to the park.
Yes.
And your mom would, correct me if I'm wrong, would like, put limits on you in terms of like how far you could go, whatever. And your dad would say to you, run.
Yeah.
Run, Kamala, run.
That's right. He would say, do not be afraid. Let her go. Let her go. Let her run. You run as fast as you can. You run as far as you want. And I believe that his whole purpose was to say, do not be afraid and be fearless and run and run. And do not be afraid of falling. Do not let anybody stop you. Young black students who are in the fine arts doing what I did, which was creating one of the first, when I was DA and then Attorney General, one of the first meaningful initiatives of reentry around getting former offenders into jobs and counseling and support instead of just reincarcerating. You know, you have the power. Prosecutors have so much power. And for those who would like to rightly, because there is so much work to be done, reform America's criminal justice system, don't lose sight of the power of the prosecutor and the power of a progressive prosecutor.
You even said you wanted to be a progressive prosecutor.
Right, and to make the decisions, and also to not, again, accept the false choice.
You got into kind of a shouting match.
Yes.
With Jamie Dimon.
I did.
The head of J.P. Morgan Chase.
I basically shouted to my assistant, Courtney, and I said, Courtney, get Jamie Dimon on the phone for me, I shouted. And the lawyers were sitting in my office looking at me like, you can't call him. He is represented by a lawyer. You can't do this. And I was like, yes, I can. And the next thing you know, he got on the phone. And so she came in and said, Jamie Dimon's on the phone. And I said, okay. And that makes you a trustee. Let's be clear. You cannot hold the American people hostage over your vanity project. I mean, but that's what it is. Did you watch his speech last night? I mean, it was blatant. It was blatant.
Blatant what?
Then he started talking about, well, African Americans and Latinos don't want this stuff happening. I mean, what was that supposed to be about? Tell me that. If not about inserting race in a way that was intended to create fear and division. That's not what a leader does, and that's certainly not what the leader of the United States is supposed to do.
Do you think Democrats should waver from the position of no money for your wall, even if it means, and the president has already said he's not going to sign anything unless there's border wall funding in it. Democrats hold firm?
So if anyone listened to how you just described what's going on and inserted that we were talking about my godson and his train, any good parenting would tell you, you don't listen to those kinds of tantrums. And you don't reward bad behavior.
Your time comes when your godchildren and grandchildren ask you, what did you do? Will your response be, I ran for president? You just said maybe. You wanna, it's only just us here. You got a timetable? A serious question. Do you have a timetable for making a decision?
soon.
Thank you very much.